Hey guys, so this training is one of my guys, Dan. So Dan's been with us for about a year, and this is a very, very in-depth training. And I think it's going to be really, really helpful for you because Dan's been in sales for about a year. He started off as an appointment setter, dialing leads, like kind of good stuff, and now he's closing medium and high ticket deals. And these are the questions that, as he's transitioning from those lower end to those higher end deals and coming up with more complicated issues and different types of prospects, is a series of questions that he had for me. And I'm going to break down exactly step by step how I would handle each one of those situations and answer all of his questions. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you on the inside. Bye.
With the questions here, like those guys are like, let's get to the point where I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I'm a person that doesn't fuck around. Yeah. We're both sales guys, let's fucking do this.
Those are definitely the guys that fuck around the most.
Yeah. So they're telling me the solution drop, like right away. And I'm like saying, no man, like it would be more appropriate if we can know a little bit more about your situation, and from there we can find if there's a possible need for our service in the first place.
Yeah. So you can look at what you're selling. You're selling sales coaching.
Yeah.
Right? So you have an advantage already because you can go, what kind of sales guy would I be who sells sales coaching, who gives into fucking bullshit stuff like that? Like there's a process that people have to go through. Right. Listen, brother, if you want to go through the process, let's do it. But right now, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know that we can help. I don't know what you need, what you want. Yeah. We have 12 different products that you can buy, ranging from 47 to 47,000. So the price is 47 grand.
Yeah. And they just go, fuck yeah.
You know, and be like, so like if it's okay with you, I can just ask you some questions, find out more about you. I can go through a process which is designed to figure out if we can help.
Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's just like some guys say yes, and that's fine. We'll go through the process of understanding who want.
So we got stage one is doing that, right? Stage two is then going, okay, well, what do you sell?
Yeah. Coaching.
They sell coaching? Yeah. All right, man. Like how much to coach my team?
Well, how many members do you have?
Man, I'm a straight shooter, bro. Right? Just how much to coach my team.
Okay, yeah, just put it back on them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That works whether they're a mechanic or whether they're a personal trainer. Well, how much to lose 10 kilos? Well, how much weight do you have to lose? Hey, bro, I'm a straight shooter. I just want to get to the point. You know? So, like, that's stage two. And then stage three is like just a get real slap. You know?
That's probably the hard thing.
But you're almost never going to have to go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The get real slap is like, hey dude, I'm going to take you through a process because that's what works for me consistently. I don't know what kind of sales guy you are or what kind of business owner you are, but I have a process that works a vast majority of the time. Yeah. So I'm not going to deviate from it. If that's not cool with you, dude, that's fine. Yeah, and especially if you're on a sales call and be like, if you don't enjoy going through a sales process and you don't want to do that yourself, I can only imagine that you probably give into this kind of stuff from prospects all the time, and that's probably costing you a fuckload of money. So it doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve me. If I end up not making this deal, that's fine because my process works. So I'm going to do it.
And you just let them know that word for word, like, because I think you just hit a light bulb moment. So that means I care about the sales too much because I want to just try to sell them, but
but like don't mistake neutrality for pussiness.
Yeah.
Right? Your words are neutral, your tone is not.
Yeah, so that's why last night I had to design the alter ego on the fucking calls. Like I felt like I was being too much of a pussy, so don't mistake.
And like you're not there to like be rude to people or be mean to people, but it's like, you know, at the end of the day, 95% of the time or 99% of the time, they need you more than you need them. Like, let's play out the logical, you don't make the sale. That guy made what, $4 grand a month? Does it affect you or does it affect him if he doesn't learn the skill set?
It affects him because he's the one that jumped on the call with us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? So at the end of the day, like you're fine. Your process works. You made what, like 20 sales last month or something?
23.
23. Yeah. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you did the process starting from scratch. Like, you know, you hurt your back. Became a lead dialer, became an appointment setter, became a triager, became a low ticket closer. Now you're closing the higher ticket deals as well. So it's like you've gone through the process and the process works.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's because I just had like a run with like with 3 of the same type of people back to back.
Yeah.
And it's because the guys that were triaged through had like $500 to $1,000, you know, like literally to their name. And I guess that played like a major part because I was like, I want a hot streak. And I think I took it a bit too personally because I was like, I was supposed to close these guys, and they were just like, I don't have the fucking funding.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
it's not a hot streak, man. It's just being good at sales.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you know, I would say of my last 35 calls, I've closed 34 of them.
Mm.
Is that a hot streak? It's like, no, it's just the way that it is.
Okay. I guess because it's coming off my best month, I was just like, I didn't want to like feel.
Yeah. So
like I was,
detaching from the outcome. What you got to understand is, if you can, you know, if there's 100 sales calls, right? 10 of them are always going to be a no. 10 of them are always going to be a yes.
Okay.
And there's 80 of them that are like a fucking mixed bag.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, given the right sequence, that you can put the puzzle together, you'll make the sale. Right? So you might get 7 of those 10 in a row that aren't going to buy.
Yeah.
And then you might get 7 of the 10 that are definitely going to buy in a row.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, those were going to happen regardless. Those are going to happen regardless. The thing is, like, the seasoned people don't change anything because they get the 7 no's in a row. Like, if I got 10 no's in a row, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, well, I might now get 90 yeses in a row. It's still going to work out 90%.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if my number is 50%, let's just say that's the number, and I get 10 no's in a row,
yeah,
I'm on a losing streak. Get 10 yeses in a row, I'm on a hot streak. No, mate, it's just 50%.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So I think I'm just being a little bit too hard on myself here.
Yeah.
All right,
and also, like, if you get a heavy emotional commitment from somebody, and they just can't find the money, that's a win.
That's still a win. Okay.
That's a win, because like some people just don't have the cash. Like they just don't have access to cash.
Yeah,
like, I sold about 8 or 9 people into Inner Circle.
Yeah.
And they like put down a credit card. They had no cash, and they went to funding. They just couldn't get it. And I was like, I'll work with you, man, as long as we need to. They just couldn't physically come up with the cash.
Yeah.
And it's like they were trying every avenue to try and do it. It's like I sold that person. You know, I don't tick it off as a sale.
Yeah.
But like when I'm looking at my data, I'm like, well, like 8 of those, you know, no sales, those were sales.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't get the money together.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's just all about pipeline those people at the end. I guess it's just like I see you and I see Marco get the commitment at least. You know, and it's just like, what can we do today to put yourself in the best position to win? They're like, all right, I need to do it. They put down like some sort of deposit. For me, I can't even get to that part. You know, I feel like there's not that enough push there. Maybe it's in myself that I can't get. Or I'm just not saying the right things at the right time.
Well, okay. So you got to then have a look at what the problem is. So chances are, like, there's tactics that you can use downstream.
Yeah.
And then like those are valid tactics to learn, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like trying to build a dam when the flood's coming.
Okay.
Right? You probably do it. But let's try and like build it upstream so that it's not such a big flood, right?
Okay.
So the upstream effects, what you want to look at, you got to have a look at if you're struggling, like if you're getting think about it objections, like I assume, and I might assume incorrectly, money and partner you can overcome.
Money partner I can overcome.
Sweet, right?
It's the thing. It's the fear. It's really comes down to fear. Yeah.
Sweet. So okay, so there's going to be a couple of factors. First is a lack of urgency. Right? Lack of urgency is going to be tied to not enough internal tension to need to act.
The why,
right?
Yeah.
Right? So if you think of pressure as an external force acting inward, right? That's like an old school sales tactic, right? And then tension is like the internal need to move, right? It's like a cable that's coiled up, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, it's much stronger. Tension is stronger than pressure, right? So what you want to do is you want to go, okay, like, what is causing that person to not have a catastrophic enough future pacing of the failure, right? Because so early on in the process, we try and get them to buy in. That you run away faster than you run towards, right? So I can casually drop that. We can set that frame or hook, whatever you want to call it, however we want to. So, and that's where that will allow us to talk about consequence and talk about motivational factors and stuff like that.
How do you get to that part though? Because I've never really used that frame. You run away from things faster than you run towards.
So like in solution awareness, I'll go, okay, man. So like, what are you actually like looking to achieve, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, paraphrasing, and then I'll sort of steamroll them straight into because, weight on a scale or money in a bank account is just a series of ones and zeros. It's just code, right? It doesn't mean anything. There's no attachment to money. I've been broke. I've been fairly okay.
Yeah.
And like definitely okay is better than broke. But once you hit a certain number, like it doesn't matter anymore. Like you're not, Jeff Bezos isn't running towards more cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got something else driving.
Purpose, yeah.
Right? So, like if I take Usain Bolt, put him on a 100-meter line, and I put fame, money, women, right, on the 100 meters, and it's like the faster you get there, the more fame, money, and women you get, he'll run very fast. But if I release a line behind him, he'll run even faster. If I have both, we'll probably get the best result.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So what we want to do is we want to have an understanding of like to get the most amount of motivation to really sort of get you to achieve your goal is what are you running towards and what are you running away from, right? So what do you get? Like when you are able to actually figure out how to solve XYZ, get your sales process, figure out your marketing, lose the weight, whatever it is you're selling, right? Then it's like, what do you actually get from that, right? And then so we want a tangible outcome.
Yeah.
Now that tangible, we need to elaborate with detail, right? So they're going to go. Let's just say, if I can,
I want to put more investments into, like, I want to start my investment portfolio. That's what a lot of sales guys say.
Okay, sweet. And like, what do you want to invest in?
Real estate.
Why real estate?
Yeah, that's what I'm missing. Yeah. Because they say real estate is just something I always wanted to do.
It's like, well, like why? Because you can invest your money in index stocks, you can invest your money in real estate. Yeah. Like what? Why invest your money in the first place?
And it's obviously going to be like time and security or something like that.
Yeah, it could be legacy, it could be time, it could be passive income, it could be whatever, right? So you want to get that out of them. And then you're like, okay, well, how much passive income do you want to make from your investments every year?
Yeah, so you're chunking down here.
I'm really, like, let's just say someone says, a pretty common thing is like, oh, I'd love to buy the family home, the car, go traveling, stuff like that. Pay off student loans. You go, okay, cool, man. Like, so, like, what house? Where is it? How many bedrooms? Why so many bedrooms?
Smart goals.
Have you got kids?
Yeah.
Do you want to have kids? Why haven't you had kids yet? Right? And they might say something like, yeah, we're just waiting until we're more financially secure to have kids.
Yeah.
Right? Then I'm like, oh, how long have you been thinking about having kids for? Like 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Like, what's been stopping you?
Yeah.
I just need to get more sort of with money and this and this. Okay. Right? So now we're not selling sales coaching. We're selling the ability to make enough money to have children.
The results, yeah.
Right? So, but you need to like have the details. So somebody might give you 4 or 5 things. One of them might sound a little bit out of place. You know what I mean? I want the car, the travel, the house, pay back my parents, do this, do this, do this. You'd be like, what do you mean pay back your parents?
Yeah.
Right? Because like, you need to pay back your parents.
Yeah.
And it might be an emotional payback. So, you might get one thing that's a little bit out of sorts. And then from there, you kind of delve deep on that and then you're future pacing out the solution. Okay, man. So, and like, what kind of car would you want? Okay, do you want one for you, one for the missus? Okay. And then you might find that like their income goal might have a massive there might be very different to what their lifestyle goal is. Because they might want to travel internationally 3 times a year. They might want to have a house in the hills, 2 Range Rovers, and they want to make $15K a month.
Doesn't cut it.
Motherfucker. You're looking at $50K a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's when I usually go, okay, well, what would that cost? What would that cost? What would that cost? Go, well, it sounds like your ideal lifestyle is more around the $500,000 a year. Does that sound right? And they go, yeah, I've never thought about it. Yeah, that sounds right. After tax.
Yeah. That's when you just drop the after
and they go, and I go, so you need like 700. And they go, okay, well, that's like your 5-year goal though, right? And we like, it's like a hockey stick progression. You go here, and then you get to a point where it goes up really fast, right? So we don't have, let's say that's 5 years. In 3 years' time, you have to be 50% of the way there. Okay, so we're at 50%. That means you need to be at, $5,000 a week, so $25,000 a month, right? So like where are you at now? I'm at 5. Okay, cool. So let's just say in a year's time we need to be at 15. That sound about good? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. With what you have in place now, how close are you to being able to get $15,000
That's how
a
it
year?
works. Yeah.
Right? So you are in a position to be able to eventually actually have the lifestyle that you want, which is going to allow you to have the car, the kids, and the whole box and dice. Right? So like, I'm really trying to anchor down. If you watch the sales call that I did with Oscar for Inner Circle.
Is that in the portal?
No, it's not, but Marco.
I've got Hitendra, I've got Darren Shanks, I think, and I've got Mitch.
Yeah, I'll show you a bunch more, but Oscar was a good one because he what he wanted didn't match up his lifestyle or his time frames.
Okay.
And then I kind of chunked that right down, right?
Yeah.
That's the really important thing is like taking what they're saying and getting the detail. The detail is what creates the vision in their mind.
Mm.
So if I'm talking to you about like your dream car, like what's your dream car?
Your car.
Okay, the C63, right? What color?
It'll be white, carbon fiber.
So white with the carbon fiber trim. Be matte white or gloss white?
Matte white.
What color badges?
Red.
Red badges?
Yeah.
What size wheels?
I like stock wheels.
Okay, cool. What size? Because mine's got the 20s in the back, 19s in the front.
They come with the 19s, right? Just originally. Yeah. So I like that. If not, just be a little bit lower. Yeah.
What interior? Would you get the racing seats or would you get?
I get the racing seats, the red trims.
Racing seats, the red trim.
Carbon fiber. Yeah, carbon fiber trims as well.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want it more that you're thinking about it like that?
Yeah,
just
cool, yeah.
You don't want a C63.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so the detail, and also I can ask you questions like, okay, who's the first person you call when you got it?
Probably my mom. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And
actually, you would be you. I would say.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Where's the first place you'd go? Like, where would you drive?
Sydney Opera House. Take a photo.
Okay, how would you feel taking a photo of your C63 AMG, white carbon fiber trim, black, red interior, 19-inch fucking blacked out wheels, taking a photo of
But the first major milestone will be done.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So with what you're doing now, how close are you being able to do that?
Yeah.
Right? So you see, like, it's the vision.
Yeah, because that's what I'm missing. Like, I get the vision, and then the question straight after on the script is like, what would that do for you personally?
Yeah,
it's
so then I can go.
Yeah,
it's just like chunking it down is a skill in itself.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, the ideal lifestyle is a really good exercise to have in your back pocket. Like, when someone's giving you vague as shit goals, having like, okay, man, have you ever done an ideal lifestyle? They're like, no. They're like, all right, cool. Do you mind if we do like a 2-minute exercise and we'll help you kind of chunk down and see if, see what the goal is, see if we can attach some emotion to it so you actually start doing something about it.
Yeah.
Like, sweet, man, you go bang, 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 right? And
That's
the ideal
what I'm
lifestyle
thinking,
is in the portal,
Okay.
right? When you do it yourself, that's it, right? So like 10 years ago, I wrote down my ideal lifestyle, right? And I wrote down how much that cost,
Yeah.
right? And I gave myself 10 years to get there. Do you know what it was?
You go there? Like you go
I
there?
have a sports car, wife has a Range Rover.
10 years ago.
I have a house with a harbor view, 2 to 3 stories with about 4 bedrooms, and I have 2 kids.
Everything came true.
Right? And that was going to cost about $800,000 a year.
Yeah. And it all came true.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I wanted it to be done a lot faster than that. I thought I could do it in 5, but it took me 10. Right? And so like,
you have to create the image. Yeah.
You have to create the image, and then like, because every decision you make is a fork in the road. Do I go towards or away?
Yeah. Avoid playing games pleasure.
Yeah. So it's like when you're climbing Everest, the reason why people don't get there is they don't put enough significance on every single decision that they made to get there. Right? Because the journey to Everest starts here, like when you initially make the decision that you're going to do it. And then you have to book the trip, and then you have to get the train, and then you have to buy the boots.
Yeah, that's the island analogy pretty much.
Yeah, so it's a series of decisions that get you to the end state. It's not just like, I'm going to Everest now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a fucking hard slog. You know what I mean? And it's expensive, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's super helpful because like every time they say something, I'm like, I don't know how to probe into this. I don't know how to like chunk it down without like going off on a tangent and them just talking about waffling on about shit. So for me, it's just like, I tried that once and it went sideways a call. And get like a consequence if they didn't get it. So I'm just talking about all these things, right?
Yeah. You got to remember though, a lot of people attach a consequence to a problem, not a solution, which is incorrect.
Right.
So the problem is I don't have a good sales process.
Yeah.
Right. The solution is I want to make 20K a month so I can put my kids in private
There we
school.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I do my consequence question, I don't go, what happens if you never fix your sales process? And you know what I mean? I go, what happens if you never figure out how to actually get to 10K a month so you can put your kids in private school? Like what happens
there? There we go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then that creates a level of urgency within the person. And then by making them really consider success and really consider failure, right? It creates a need to solve the problem.
Yeah. So I'm still on the consequence questions. I'm still talking about the sales structure. That's why. What the results it leads to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I gotta frame like what happens if you don't get to 20K per month, right? You don't get those investment properties by the age 30.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can frame it so I guess what happens if you don't change your process so that you actually can get to 10K a month, which is kind of going to allow you to have that financial freedom, get the investments, build the wealth, get the family, do all that kind of stuff. Like what happens if you just don't figure it out? And then they're going to say things like, nah, man, I'm getting after it. It's like, yeah, man, everyone's doing their
It's
best.
an easy thing to do, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not, and they're going to give you a long answer as to why they will get it. And you just got to go, that's not the question that I asked them.
That's the challenge, because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you, like staying in the saddle at that point.
Yeah.
And then they take control of that and they get a little bit offended by me just pumping the consequence questions. And I feel like there's a more...
That's where if you do the same boat analogy,
yeah,
you give permission for that because they buy in that level of motivation is important.
right.
Right? And then that's when you can go, okay, man, let me kind of explain what I mean. Like everyone knows that person with single mom, 4 kids,
Yeah.
six-pack abs, 7-figure business on the beach every morning, fucking warrior pose on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? We all know that person. And you just think, what the fuck are they putting in their coffee? And the answer is a good dose of fear and reality, right? Like they understand the consequences of their inaction, right? They inherently, like that's why people run a hell of a lot faster out of a burning building than what they do fucking running for an ice cream.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, you get to a point where you have to act, and then you can go, so if I take a deer and a bear and I do that whole thing, and I just go, so which animal gives up first, dude? And they're gonna go, the bear. I go, why is that? And they go, well, because the motivations. I go, so are you making decisions as a deer or a bear?
There you go. They got to select. Yeah.
And then you gotta go, okay, and be like, and what is your potential competition doing? Are they fucking getting after it?
Yeah.
Right? So it's, it's like, I know for me, man, and you can have all these little loops and you go, for me, like, especially like when you're comfortable, like, let's say the person's doing 15K a month, right? They're comfortable. Like I know for me, man, like comfort is a motherfucker, right? Because for me personally, this is where I attack and confess, right? So I'm attacking them, but I'm attacking their ideas by like confessing my own.
This is what I went through.
Yeah.
This is how I did it and it became XYZ.
Yeah. But it's like, it's really simple because you just go like, okay, like I know for me, comfort is a breeding ground for mediocrity. They're like, oh, you know what I mean? And so like when we're comfortable, that's the reason why most people don't get uncomfortable to go to the next level, right? It's because you're comfortable. Being comfortable is nice. Fucking warm bed, all good. You know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta set the fucking house on fire, right? And you gotta YOLO that shit, and you gotta put yourself in an uncomfortable position to be able to achieve the next stage, And so, like, what are you doing, man? Like, how are you making decisions? And then, like, we can twist them in knots. Once they agree to some of those frames, like, that becomes, like, the truth of the conversation, and you can just keep twisting them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's super helpful because I'm not, just based off these questions, you basically answered all the major ones that I had. So I had like the straight shooters, we covered that, but challenging people, staying in the saddle. And
with challenging people, they have to answer the question that you asked.
Okay.
And they have to answer it in the way that you want to answer it.
Okay, so what if I get an answer where it's like the why so important to you now rather than X, Y, Z, the rationale question. If they give me a really shitty answer that I can't work with, like I just ask them, well, why is that important to you now? And then they still,
so
yeah,
gotta,
I still
what's
feel
the
like kind of
okay? The
emotional.
rationale question, right?
Yeah.
To you, what is the point of it?
Staying in status quo and getting the results that they want.
Okay, but like, what's the benefit to you to having them answer that question correctly?
They have to justify why they want to change.
No, they have to justify why what they're doing will never work.
Okay.
Right? So
Right.
you have to say that question in a very particular way, right? And that's why you have to customize that question to everyone that you speak to. So if you just go, hey man, just so I can see the rationale behind why you might be looking to potentially get an online business, but besides kind of having a bit more passive income, like what's the main reason for looking to do that now rather than the way you've been doing it? If you ask it just a really generic way, you get like why now?
Yeah.
Right? The way that I would ask it is like, so man, like just so I can see the rationale behind why you might be looking to, kind of start an online business. What's the main reason for sort of doing that now? Rather than just doing more of what you're doing, or like just doing more, just working more hours, or like, what's the main reason for looking to change your sales process rather than just getting more leads?
So basically, you want them
Right?
to say it's not working.
It will never work.
Okay.
If I just take what I'm doing to the logical conclusion, it will never work.
No.
Why change your sales process instead of just taking more sales calls?
Because what I'm doing will never work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I'm already fucking working 50 hours a week. Okay, why not just work 60 or 70 and get a better result? And fuck man, I don't want to work 70 hours a week. Okay, why is that important to you now though? Getting a process where you can make more money and work less hours.
That's how it's done. Yeah, that's a lot of gold nuggets right there. Okay, that should tie in everything, because what I've been doing is just like, besides wanting to make more money, because every single person on the planet sales wants to do that.
Yeah.
What's the main reason you're looking to have more advanced selling skills rather than just like,
No, rather than just taking more sales calls.
rather than just taking.
Right? So if you do it that way, they have to take their process to its natural conclusion to achieve the goal they want. So if they close at 20% and they make $1,000 a deal, right? They close at 20%, right? So they're closing 1 in 5, right? That means if they wanted to do $20,000 a month, right? They need to close 20 deals. That means they need to take 100 sales calls. Okay? So like, if they're taking 50 sales calls, which is 50 hours, a month, which isn't heaps, but like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say they're making $500, right? But like, you can extrapolate it out. Like, their goal is so out of reach, given the current process that they're using, that even considering just doing more of it is ridiculous.
So that's when you challenge them.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're like, okay, well, why is that important to you now? Why is that important to you now? So like, it's just the way you phrase each question is really important. And so what you want to do is you want to sit down with your script and you want to go like, what do I want to get out of this question? And with that rationale question, what I want to get out of it is I want to dismantle their current way of doing things. Because that means I don't ever have to deal with it again. Right? And if a sales call is like a series of doors, right? Like I want to walk through a door, close it behind me. Walk through a door, close it behind me. I need to know what their problem is. I need to know what their solution is on like a tangible level. I need to know what like the emotional drivers are behind that solution. And I need to know the consequence of their inaction. Right? Those are my 4 major hurdles that I have to overcome. Then there's a series of smaller ones, which are just like boxes that I want to tick to make sure I'm in the best position to be able to actually get the sale.
That's super helpful. So that pretty much uncovers like the real why. Yeah. Because a lot of the times, like I can't break through that 4th wall of them give me the real answer. I can do with some people if my technical vulnerability hits well.
Yeah.
And some guys they just won't give.
It's the detail, man. Like it's like when I talk to you about your car.
Yeah.
When I talk about the trim, and I talk about the accessories, and I talk about the interior, and about where did you go, and who did you talk to, and who would you take, and all those things, all those details, they create an emotional connection to the outcome.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just talk about the car itself, oh yeah, cool. Like, and that's where most salespeople go. They just talk about the car. I don't give a fuck about the car, right? Like, could you imagine if somebody gave you a Lamborghini, right, for a week? You know how hard it'd be to give that thing back?
Yeah.
Right? Because it'd be the feeling of walking to your Lamborghini. You know, opening the door and having people go, who the fuck's this Johnny Tran motherfucker getting out of a Lamborghini? Do you know what I mean? Like, geez, like, I couldn't give back. I'd be like, how much you want for it? Right? Like, the level of status that you get, like, or even perceived, right, is awesome. It's the same reason people wear designer. You know, it feels nice wearing designer because you're like, I worked hard, I was able to pay for this. This is like, it's a little flex, right? But there's nothing wrong with that, right? I have fucking Louis Vuitton shoes, like I'm an idiot, right? So, you know, like it's the same reason. And so like, that's why when you future pace out and you talk about the detail and you have a real conversation, potentially they're actually thinking about it for the first time. And so it really becomes real for them, you know? And you don't have to do your tactical vulnerability when you're doing that stuff because they're in the conversation, they're excited about it.
But I think the problem with when we all start NQ, we're just sticking to the script too much. I mean, the questions that you get some emotion out.
Well, that's what, okay, I'll challenge that because it's probing and clarifying.
Okay, that gets the details.
Right? So it says probe and clarify, right? It's like, hey, probe into that, clarify, probe into that, clarify. Now, if you read the, you know, like chunking down is just a technique of probing and going and clarifying. Okay, well, I want to buy a house. What size house? Like it's a valid question. How many bedrooms? Where would it be? How much would it cost? Who would live there?
Details.
Right, it's the details. You know what I mean? And that's what creates the real emotion. You know? So.
That's super helpful. I mean, basically, I ask like challenging people and staying started with objection handling. And people don't give me a strong enough why. I've already covered that. But the objection handling, it's like.
Do you want to go over it in depth?
It's more of the. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I'll take you through it. I'll show you.
Okay, sweet.